Hi friends, you know every season I give you the best backstory video on the new legend, and in season 13, the new legend has a really juicy backstory. By the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any of the epic season 13 videos I've got coming your way. So let's start with the new legend's backstory. Newcastle. His real name is Jackson Williams. Recognize the surname? Well, that's because he's the brother of Anita Williams. You'll know her as Bangalore. Let's go back to the start. Jackson Williams, a member of the large Williams family from the planet Gridiron. Everyone in the Williams family is or has been involved with the military in some form, mostly combat, apart from Jackson's brother Zeke, who was in fact a scientist for the IMC. Jackson and his family were on the IMC side during the Frontier War. Now Jackson had a very competitive childhood with his sister Bangalore. His sister was always trying to one-up him, so much so they even invented a scorecard to keep track of all of the challenges they would go through, and the first to 100 would be crowned the best Williams sibling. Like his family before him, Jackson would go on to join the IMC military, starting with basic training. He would go on to do extremely well in the training program and go through to graduation along with his sister, who also joined him through the same class for basic training. Even through training they would often compete with each other, completing challenges that even included a bow-off using a bow-check bow. Despite their rivalry, Jackson really did care for his sister. So much so that he was going to let her win their final challenge on the scorecard because he knew it meant so much to her. These were a set of challenges that were going on for such a long time, and that just shows you how much Jackson really did care for his sister Bangalore. Initially, it looked like Jackson and Bangalore would be sent on separate missions in the Frontier War after their graduation. However, Typhon was destroyed by the militia, the war changed, and so did the lives of the Williams family. You see, their brother Zeke was on Typhon when it was destroyed, and sadly he lost his life. This made Bangalore hate the militia. Jackson didn't trust his sister to not go rogue, plus he couldn't risk losing his sister after just losing his brother. So he asked for a transfer to her battalion. During the fight on Gridiron, Bangalore was injured. On the Hestia above Gridiron, Jackson sensed the war was lost, and he decided he didn't want to risk his sister's life, nor the rest of the crew. So he ordered the IMC Hestia to jump into slipspace and escape the fight. The Hestia ended up crashing on Storm Point in the Outlands. Not ideal given Storm Point is almost 20 years away from their home planet in the Frontier. It was technology that they stole from Typhon that allowed them to get to the Outlands much faster, so they were effectively stranded 20 years away from home, given the device that they used there was no longer working. Bangalore was out for a little bit during this journey, while Jackson was able to set up a bit of a base camp on Storm Point and explore the surroundings a little. Eventually, when Bangalore finally came around, Jackson was able to reunite with her in a touching moment, and he proceeded to show her around Storm Point. It felt like Jackson really found his place, a place where he could help people and feel useful, more so than just being a soldier in the IMC. Unfortunately for Bangalore, she was a bit more of a hard-headed soldier, and she realised Jackson had essentially abandoned the IMC in their hour of need. Being the loyal-minded person that Bangalore is, she sent out a signal for a rescue. A Commander Scryer replied. However, when he turned up, he wanted to execute Jackson for treason instead of saving them both and taking them back to the Frontier. Bangalore wouldn't let this happen. Despite how she felt about being a soldier and sticking to the rules, she loved her brother, and together, Jackson and his sister took on the mighty pilot Scryer. Somehow, these two soldiers were able to overcome the special abilities of Commander Scryer. In their success though, Jackson feared this wouldn't be the last time. In the IMC's eyes, he was a traitor. He suggested maybe Bangalore would be better off without him, but Jackson's sister would never abandon him. And as she helped him onto the Commander Scryer's ship, she said they were in it together. Sometime later on board the Hestia 2, a grenade seemingly made contact with the outer hull of their ship. Jackson nor Bangalore really knew where it came from, but in that moment, Jackson had a choice. Let his sister fall out of the ship to her death, or sacrifice his life to save her. For Jackson, that was an easy choice. He sacrificed himself, keeping Bangalore safe, but this led to him falling out of the ship. This was not the end of the story for Jackson though. You see, Jackson Williams survived. He would go on to build a family in Harris Valley, choosing not to reach out to his sister so he could keep her safe. One day, while searching for his daughter's Newcastle plush, Jackson sees something. A gang of thugs are facing off against Newcastle. They're asking for the money he owes them for debts. Oh right, I said Jackson sees Newcastle. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. You see, up to this point, Newcastle is a guy called Renee, hero of Harris Valley. He's fighting to earn money to buy back Harris Valley from the local mob. Unfortunately, the mob have run out of patience because Newcastle, to be honest, kinda sucks. He's failed so many times to get into the games, so they shoot him. Luckily for Newcastle, Jackson turns up to try and save the day. After a fight, he has to make a deal with the leader of the gang. Jackson will enter the games. He gets one chance. If he fails, Harris Valley burns. If he makes it, then he pays back the gang with interest, but frees Harris Valley. After the gangster leaves, Jackson goes to Newcastle, who's lying on the ground injured. Unfortunately for Newcastle, he dies through his injuries. And thus, Jackson becomes Newcastle. Why did Jackson do this, you might ask? Well, let's not forget, Jackson's a hero. He's a good guy, and in a time where he saw the people of Harris Valley needed a hero, he stepped in. Following this, Jackson successfully qualifies for the Apex Games, and after a farewell party for Bangalore, he takes part in Bangalore's final game. The game doesn't go quite to plan though, given a large sea monster attacks. The Legends then team up to fight it, with Newcastle taking the lead. During that though, Bangalore realises who Newcastle really is. After defeating the sea monster, Bangalore goes to see a slightly injured Newcastle and confronts him, removing his helmet to reveal it's Jackson. By the way, you know this bracelet? It's a Williams family tradition that every family member gets one before they go on assignment with the military. It's a way for their family to find each other and has a lot of sentimental value. So that's the backstory of Newcastle, or at least the Newcastle we have today. For sure there's more to come in the lore between Bangalore and Newcastle. Don't worry, I'll keep you up to date on the latest lore through season 13. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.